Hi, I'm Brian Dickinson, and this training bite shows you how to use regular expressions in UVM configurations. We will briefly review configuration terminology, define the rules for using regular expressions, and then demo some examples. Here is a simple UVM configuration set. Remember, sets have 4 arguments: context, which is usually the keyword this, a string instance path name to a component, a string field or property name, and finally a value for the property. The instance is a hierarchical path name from the context to a component which defines the field to be assigned the value. Instance and field names are strings to allow a configuration set before the hierarchy is built. We can set multiple identical fields in different hierarchies using Glob pattern wildcards in the instance. Star for any number of characters, including 0, or question mark for any 1 character. Alternatively, we can use a regular expression, or regex, for the instance argument. There are many flavors of regex. UVM supports POSIX regex. There are 4 simple rules for using regex for the instance argument. Firstly, the UVM Direct Programming Interface (DPI) must be enabled. UVM compiles and matches regular expressions using C functions imported via DPI into a method UVM rematch. UVM DPI is enabled by default, but there are several defines which disable it, such as UVM no DPI. Check these are not defined if you are having problems. Secondly, the instance argument must be enclosed in forward slashes. This tells UVM to strip off the slashes and compile the remaining string as a regular expression. Note that any glob characters, such as star, will be interpreted as regex symbols in the remaining string. Thirdly, you can escape symbols so they are treated as characters rather than regex operators. You must use double backslashes before the symbol. 1 slash will not work. Effectively, you have to escape the escape character. So backslash dot is interpreted as a dot character, i.e. the hierarchical separator in a UVM path name. Finally, there is a bug in the UVM library that requires context to be null if the instance is a regex. If context is this, UVM concatenates the context and the instance strings, and this breaks the regex syntax. A context of null means instance must be an absolute path name resolved from UVM desktop. I'm not going to describe regex syntax, however there are some simple symbols we will use in the demo. In regex, a dot defines any single character, which you can modify using, for example, star to match 0 or more characters. So dot star is equivalent to glob star. If we wanted dot to match the UVM hierarchical separator, then it must be escaped with a double backslash. Square brackets define a list of alternative characters or a range. The contents of square brackets are interpreted as characters, so this is an easier alternative to reference the hierarchical separator. Alternate strings can be defined using the OR operator and delimiting the string list with brackets. So let's see some examples. We will use a simple hierarchy and we will set the property recording detail, as this is printed when set and not printed for its default 0 value, so settings are easier to see. First example uses numbered UVC instance names. I want to set recording detail for UVC1 and UVC3, but not UVC2. Here is my regular expression. / to identify the regex, dot star matches any number of characters, string UVC followed by either 1 or 3, then any number of characters, and ending with the / regex delimiter. Let's check this in simulation. The hierarchies under UVC1 and UVC3 have recording details set. We can also use a range of alternative characters. So here for UVC2 and UVC3, let's switch these configurations, resimulate and test. And that's as expected. We can try a regex with alternative strings by renaming the UVCs UVC_1, UVC_2, and UVC_3. So here we want to match UVC1 and UVC3. Here is the regular expression. And the results are as expected. Third example uses an array of UVCs where instance names include square brackets and indices. We want to hit UVC0 and UVC2 and include the brackets in the regular expression. We need 2 escape backslashes for the regex to interpret the square brackets as characters. So this is UVC, open square brackets, either 0 or 2, and close square brackets. If we simulate, we should hit UVC0 and UVC2 as shown. Or we can use additional square brackets as shown in the second set. So this is UVC, followed by any character from a list which only contains open square brackets, alternate characters 0 or 2, followed by closed square brackets. This should hit UVC0 and UVC2 as before. To explore and debug UVM regex, it's easier to access the UVM rematch method directly. UVM rematch takes 2 arguments, a regex string without the forward slashes and a string to which the regex is applied. The method returns 0 if a match is found, otherwise returns 1. In this test code, we've defined an enum to unambiguously print the result, so you can easily test your regular expressions. This test code is linked below this video. Some examples. The first is no match for the X and Z characters. Second matches B.D into the string. A single slash does not escape the dot, so it is interpreted as any character. The third example escapes the dot with double slashes, so it is interpreted as a character and does not match. Final 2 examples show the alternative way to access the dot as a character inside square brackets. So that's regular expressions in UVM configuration instances. I hope you find it useful.